What is really going on here? Kenyans went to the polls on the 9th of August 2022, and here we are seeing results being streamed on our screens. Yeah. And it's a bit confusing for many Kenyans. We're being told about Form 34As, 34Bs, etc., etc. It's all very confusing. On my show today, I reveal mind-boggling things for anybody who wants to really understand what is going on. So I'm sure it's going to be a super fascinating show for you. You know, the IEBC chairman, Wafula Chebukati, had a press briefing yesterday. And I was shocked at some of the questions that journalists fielded. It became very clear to everybody who was at that presser, that at least one journalist did not understand the process, which had been clearly explained by the IEBC, of how presidential votes are transmitted, put on the portal, counted, and how finally the president-elect is declared. Now, for clarity, because I believe it is okay for a Kenyan not to understand this, but a journalist, it's criminal. Because they're supposed to make things clearer to us. They're supposed to help us understand. So how are we going to understand if they don't understand? Anyway, for clarity, the Form 34A is usually transmitted, and that is what is on the portal. Now, there's no way Chebukati is going to declare the president-elect until he receives the physical copy of what has been transmitted. And the IEBC compares with what has been transmitted, and they find that they tally. Of course, this is an important security measure, because somebody can transmit something different from the original. And therefore, it's not a smart question to ask. When will you announce the results? You already have 97% of the results from polling stations in the IEBC portal. Why don't you just count all of them and announce the president-elect? This is what this journalist was driving at. But now I'm sure it is clear to all of us. And remember, these returning officers from polling stations all over the country, some of them have to travel from very far to get to Nairobi and the Bomas of Kenya, where they'll hand in this vital document. And also remember that we have over 40,000 polling stations. In my view, this election has been very transparent. This is how we should have done it in 2013 and 2017. Everybody has access to the results as they come in. And of course, the polling station results are final. Nobody can change them from there. This was clarified by a court ruling, I believe in 2017. Because in the past, by the way, this is how elections have been fiddled with. Because there's no transmission that is transparent. Because in the past, we have not had this situation where the results are transmitted and immediately made available on the IEBC portal. And therefore, if there was any fiddling with this particular election this time around, we can be sure that it can never happen at the IEBC. It can only happen on the ground at the different polling stations countrywide. And indeed, that is one of the issues I tackle. Highly sensitive issue in this video. So let's get on with it. Twende kazi. Now let's all start by taking a very deep breath to relax. Folks, it's just an election. Let's not get too emotional about it, because we need our thinking caps for this one. Yeah. Emotions will cloud our judgment, and therefore it's super important that you have minimal emotions as we go into this. If you're a supporter of UDA and Kenya Kwanza and Deputy President William Samoei Ruto, that's great. I don't have anything against you. I don't have anything against your candidate. But what this video is about, it is about finding the truth and nothing but the truth. And so if you post a comment here and say, oh, this is an Azimio channel, or oh, you're favoring, or you're not balanced, I need to tell you in advance, I will promptly delete it. In fact, I have people on standby to delete such comments, because I just want comments on this particular video that add value for the people who are seeking the truth. If you're a UDA supporter and you don't want the truth, you just want your candidate to win, I suggest that you leave this video and go and watch another video that will make you happy. Right, now that we've gotten that out of the way, let's quickly move on. It should be very clear as day, that there's something in these election results, the ones that have trickled in, that is not making any sense. Okay? If you're a popular candidate and you get X number of votes, there are two possibilities. Somebody can look at those votes and say, ah, yes, I knew this man was popular. Or somebody can look at those votes and say, there's something wrong here. This candidate is too popular to get X number of votes in their stronghold. To be clear, I have come to that conclusion, a very informed conclusion, when it comes to the votes that have been assigned to presidential candidate, His Excellency, Dr. William Samoei Ruto. Now, let's start by backing up a little in the run-up to this presidential election. We know and we saw and have videos on this channel where the deputy president's handlers blocked roads, blocked people coming off the ferry. Why? So as to have a meeting that would look absolutely packed. Now, if you're coming off the ferry and all the roads are blocked, you'll be forced to stand there and listen to the deputy president until he's done and the road is unblocked. And the TV cameras will capture you as somebody who attended a William Samoei Ruto rally. Unfortunately, there's no way the camera will be able to mark you as somebody who attended that rally by force. You are forced by circumstances. You're coming off the ferry and you are blocked. You couldn't move. Unfortunately, the camera can't record that. We've also had instances where roads were blocked. Now, is this something that a popular candidate would do? That is the question. We have had photographs on social media, some of them which have been pulled down, withdrawn by the person who posted them. Photographs photoshopped, showing huge crowds attending a rally of William Samoei Ruto. Indeed, hilariously, some people have pointed out that road is in my backyard. It is in my rural area. And in the photograph, for some strange reason, that road is very wide. It is just a narrow road. There is no way to have taken those crowds. The photograph is showing us it took. It is impossible. Again, I ask, is this what a popular candidate would do? Are these the tactics and strategy that a popular candidate would use? Answer that one for yourself. Those of you who have been on the campaign trail will already know that many Kenyans, poverty-stricken Kenyans, usually rush to attend the deputy president's rallies, the campaign rallies he had, because they always expected a good handout. Okay? And there were allegations that people were paid to attend William Samoei Ruto rallies. Would a popular candidate need to do this? Answer that question for yourself. This kind of scenario that I've just described, and many other instances countrywide, do they tally with the massive amount of votes the deputy president is receiving? Answer that question for yourself. Now, it is very clear that Dennis Itumbi and handlers of the deputy president have an ongoing campaign to prove to Kenyans that the votes the deputy president is getting are correct, to give the perception that the deputy president is very popular after all. Now I ask again, is this the kind of campaign that somebody like Raila Odinga, for instance, would carry out, or his handlers? Would a popular candidate have to do something like this? The same Ruto handlers have announced various wins for their candidates. They even announced the gubernatorial seats in several counties. Now, you need to understand that the procedure is that when the votes come in, the presidential votes are counted first and the results transmitted. That's the first stage. And then what happens next is that the votes have to be counted for the other seats. And the next seat that has to be declared is that of the MP, Member of Parliament of that particular constituency. And the MP elect is announced at the constituency, not the polling station. There are several polling stations in a constituency. And then after that is done, because a county has several constituencies, those results move now for the governor of that county to be declared. The woman's rep in that county to be declared. And that usually happens last, in the chronological order I've just stated. So you have elections today. A few hours later, somebody is telling you so and so has won governor of a certain county. Does that make sense? Of course not. So why are the deputy president's handlers, the handlers of a very popular presidential candidate, doing this? Why? I have no idea, but I have a very strong theory. Work out your own theory for yourself. And now we come to something super fascinating. At least I found it very, very fascinating. Our local media, the TV stations, streaming the results of the elections to us. Now, I hope we all understand that all the results, when you hear that 97% or 90% or whatever of the Form 34As have been submitted to the IEBC, the results are available to the public, it means that all those results were on the public portal of the IEBC. And so what the media were doing was going to that particular website and picking the results and doing some sums, adding them up, and then putting them on our TV screens. That is what was happening. In my opinion, and I believe you'll agree with me, the best way this should have been done was to take all the results, add all the results together, and then tell Kenyans As per the results received so far, by 5 p.m. today, this date, these are the votes the candidates got. Okay? That would have been less confusing. And then, since most of the results were in very quickly, as the other results are posted, you adjust your figures. That would have been very easy. But what did the media houses do? They added up the results of a few polling stations, streamed the results on TV. And therefore, a Kenyan watching the television would say, "Aye, William Ruto is in the lead. What is happening to Baba?" Yeah. And what the public would not know is that these particular results were taken from a William Samoei Ruto stronghold. And therefore they do not reflect the true situation, the reality, countrywide. Now here comes the really interesting part. It is possible in this kind of scenario to give instructions to somebody and tell them, "I want you to make sure that every update you put up has candidate X leading. Make sure they're always leading." That's very possible. Because it is the media house which decides which particular polling stations to start with, and in what order, and at what speed. Yeah. And so I have to ask the question, is it possible for a particular media house to decide, maybe they've been given a little incentive, if you know what I mean. Is it possible for them to decide that in all the results we're going to post, we want so-and-so on the lead? Is that possible? Answer that question for yourself. But let us acknowledge something else very important. And we cut the media some slack. Media houses are a business. They have to turn a profit. Their main source of revenue are advertisers. And advertisers are interested in advertising on TV when they know that that particular TV station has a huge audience. It makes sense, so that as many people as possible see their ad and rush to the shop or to the supermarket or whatever to purchase it. That's how this game is played. And meanwhile, from those revenues, the TV station makes money to pay salaries, to pay costs, etc., etc., and to return a profit to the investor, the owner of that particular TV station. And therefore, with this information, it makes perfect sense why the media houses decided to play games with the results already on the IEBC portal, to bring those results and give them to us, trickle, 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 in small doses, kama dawa, as they heighten the suspense of the audience. And the more they heighten the suspense of the audience, the larger viewership they get. And the larger viewership they get, the more advertising revenue they get. I'm sure you get what I'm trying to say. Revenue from advertising would not have worked out very well if they had done the sensible thing, the right thing. Take all the results in the IEBC portal, sit down, add them all up, and then post the total results from all polling stations so far received. That would not have worked out very well in bringing suspense and drawing in audiences to their TV stations. And by the way, this is a very competitive business. So we have to give them that. They have to survive. And so maybe that's why they did it like this. But meanwhile, what did they do to Kenyans? Kenyans were confused. NTV is saying this man is leading. KTN is saying this other man is leading. Citizen is fluctuating. It's saying this man is leading, and then the next minute another man is leading. Kenyans were totally confused. Indeed, Kenyans are still very confused. However, we cannot ignore the fact that the way things have played out in the media has been of great help in building up a certain perception for one of the presidential candidates. William Samoei Ruto. Because what we have seen on our TV screens suggests that William Samoei Ruto is very popular. In fact, it suggests that William Samoei Ruto is more popular than Raila Odinga. That is the impression any visitor to Kenya would get watching our media. Now I need to ask the question, was that deliberate or accidental to favor the deputy president? I have my own views. I'm sure you have yours. And I'm afraid in this instance, I will not share mine with you. I'm sorry. Now, based on what I've already said so far, you will agree with me that one of the presidential candidates has received a surprisingly high number of votes. Shockingly high. Now, in my latest weekly intelligence briefings, because this information is very sensitive, especially now, I reveal how the deputy president got his high number of votes. Okay? Verified information. Indeed, in this WIB, I also include information that has appeared on our mainstream media confirming these are the information I came up with. So I'm not just picking up things from the air or from nowhere. It is all very factual. Now I'm sure you can see details on your screens right now on how to become a member of my weekly intelligence briefings. The huge advantage is that you'll get all past editions of the weekly intelligence briefings. They're over 80 in number. Highly sensitive intelligence information. And please take advantage of the current special offer, because it's not going to be around for long. And I'm basing it on the year when Kenya, our beloved motherland, repealed the notorious Section 2A of the Constitution to allow back multi-party politics. That year was 1991. Therefore, for $19.91, you can become a member of my weekly intelligence briefings for a whole year. Of course, the equivalent is 1,991 Kenya shillings. So go for it. And get hold of this mind-boggling information, even as we wait to see what will happen next in this mother of all general elections in our country. Now, regulars on this channel will know that I've always called these general elections the mother of all general elections. Regulars on this channel will also know, and indeed I repeated this yet again in a very recent video, that this particular election, especially the presidential election, is very complicated. It's not as simple as it may appear to be at first sight. And that is precisely what is unfolding. Now, my appeal to all Kenyans is that we keep the peace. Do not accept under any circumstances to be provoked, whatever happens. There's a high possibility crazy things will happen. But don't be provoked. Because peace and unity, we're all brothers and sisters, is the most important thing. Because without that peace, nothing else can work. Nothing else can be done. Without peace, people can't go to work. Without peace, people can't go to that kibarua and get some money to put some food on the table for their loved ones. So above everything else, peace is the most important thing we need. I hope we're all in agreement about that. And therefore, emotions, control your emotions. Please, it's important. For the love of the motherland, control your emotions. Until next time, this is Chris Kumekucha.